Now, a lot of SEOs out there love making doomsday predictions around algorithm updates like some sort of tech Rain Man, and every time I read their predictions, I do sometimes shit myself.
Do you hear me?
Of course, I don't have my underwear.
What?
But to be honest, they say all this stuff about like Google cracking down and your rankings getting smashed, but in reality it's kind of more like this.
Definitely 20. Definitely 20? Yeah.
Uh-oh, indeed. Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Canonical Chronicle, the meme-infused SEO news that stops your rankings from tanking. In this week's episode, we dive into rumours of another algorithm update, the ads guy from Google running organic, Twitter is now no longer going to let you retweet anything unless you actually read it, and last but not least, we examine some of the moves Google have taken this week to clamp down on bad backlinking practices, and we're going to give you the lowdown on what a good link is and what a bad link is, and actually what you can do to actually get these things. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so for everyone out there with the attention span of a PPC consultant, here is this week's SEO news rapid fire. Firstly, it looks like conferences are going to be a thing of the past. According to a study carried out by Search Engine Land, in-person conferences are not going to be happening this year at all due to social distancing restrictions. Which is a real shame because SEO conferences are a place for SEOs to get together and learn new tips and tricks and techniques for, getting shit-faced in a fancy hotel lobby. And perhaps going full Winona Ryder klepto on the free pens and the beer mats.
Yoink!
Here is actually some footage of an audience member from my last conference talk at my favourite conference, Brighton SEO.
You've got no friends!
Of course, that same fan followed me to the after party where he said this.
If you want some, I'll give it you. You want to do with me?
Also this week, Google announced Prabhakar Raghavan, the old AdWords chief, is now going to replace Ben Gomes as the person in charge of organic search. So if Mr. AdWords is unfamiliar with organic, here's a quick primer. It's the bit underneath the ads. No, keep going, keep scrolling. No, more. There, organic, pricks. I'm only kidding, but the last 10 years, SEOs trying to show their clients organic listings has been like... No. I'm kidding. Like, when we dig into it, he's actually the most qualified guy for the job. He's been publishing papers on information retrieval and search algorithms since 1986. I mean, that is literally 3 years longer than I have personally been alive. And I thought I was getting into the old guard of the SEO industry. Clearly not.
I'm 29 years old, damn it, and I want to sit in a comfortable chair and watch television and go to sleep at a reasonable hour.
So how do most SEOs use Twitter? No, I'm only kidding. We don't do that. We do this. That's right, we find something about coding or Python that'll make us sound a little bit more intelligent, and we hit retweet. Nah, I'm like it. Or am I? Last week's Canonical Chronicle thread amassed 88,000 impressions on Twitter with 19 retweets and 24 likes, but the video that it was actually promoting, only got a solid 500 views, or to put it another way, a solid 0.6% of you actually consumed the content, the rest of you just retweeted it for a laugh. But hey, I'm not being ungrateful, my fragile ego really needs the likes.
You choose me?
So now Twitter are actually going to suggest to Android users that you actually read the article before retweeting it in order to stop the spread of clickbait headlines. So if you see a drop in your social reach but an increase in the actual clicks to your website, that's why. So Google recently published their Webspam report that says that they find 25 billion spam pages a day. Whoa, they can find 25 billion spam pages, I can't even find the clip. So the most impressive part of the report is how they're using machine learning to crack down on link schemes and paid links to make them much less effective. A spokesman for Google said, "Our machine learning solutions combined with our proven time-tested manual enforcement capability have been instrumental in identifying and preventing spammy results from being served to users." So it seems that Google is actually using more search quality raters to train the algorithms up using those search quality guidelines, making them really more important than ever. Kind of like a crowdsourced Mr. Miyagi.
Wax on, wax off.
We can also see them doing things like just ignoring bad links instead of penalising them. So that way the webmasters are like burning through more cash buying rubbish links and they eventually give up. And the thing is, it's a good strategy. Like every day I'm seeing people like going full John Wick with their SEO spend when it comes to links.
What do you think you're going to do with all of that?
This.
And here's the thing, after burning all that money, rankings, they don't move. So for the rest of this video, let's dive in to backlinks. Specifically, what is a good backlink and what is a bad backlink? How you can actually check what backlinks you've got, how you can detect something that is a bad backlink, and also how you can build good backlinks for free. So firstly, let's get the SEO dogma out of the way. There are some SEOs that believe that all links break Google's terms of service, that you should just build it and they will come. For the sake of this video, we will call these people simpletons.
Hey, what's going on this side?
Now, there are also other SEOs that believe that you should smash as many links as possible to your site and that Google is nothing more than kind of a big text reader. For the sake of this video, we will call them SEO bros.
What's up, bro? What, bro? Sup, bro? Take a swing, bro. Right here, bro.
And then there are those that understand that links and SEO are part of a wider business ecosystem and that everything you should do online should fundamentally bring value to your audience. And we're going to call these people the red pills.
You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
So the following advice about links is aimed at the red pill group. Okay, so first and foremost, let's not think of links as either good or bad. Let's just think of them as useful or not useful. For example, a link from a guest post isn't bad and it isn't good. It's the context that dictates how useful it is. So if you publish an article called like 10 things you didn't know about carpet cleaning services London or something like that on a blog with really little traffic and no real topical relevance to the theme that you're trying to promote and no real social media following, you can probably work out that it's not going to be useful and you should probably avoid it. But if you're going to pitch for, let's say, a guest post on The Stockist, which is a flooring trade magazine with the article "Keep Calm and Be Inspired by Nature," I'd say that's useful because the site has traffic, it's got your core audience that are reading all that content, and they have a very good social following. So in this instance, we're not saying that guest posts are good or bad, we're just determining what is useful to the business. Okay, next up, how do we check backlinks? Well, when it comes to checking backlinks, we need to do this with backlink checking software.
Duh.
I know, you already know that. So there's kind of like three big players in backlink checking. You've got Majestic, Ahrefs, and also SEMrush. So I'm actually personally affiliated with SEMrush. There's a link down below if you want a cheeky little deal on it, hashtag corporate shell. But we also use Majestic and Ahrefs at our agency as well. So instead of looking at the usual backlink tools, I'm actually just going to give you tips to check it manually. So firstly, is the site indexed? Simply do a site search to see if Google's actually showing up all the pages on the site. Do they have a social following and is it real? And is their blog getting comments and actual traffic? So doing this one site at a time is really slow and really tedious. That's why I use URL Profiler. Essentially, I can just drop in all of the domains and what they're going to do is going to get all of the social profiles, all of the traffic, and I'll even grab their email address just in case I do want to pitch these people a story and I don't need to do any extra work. Next, I would check to make sure that it's definitely not a PBN. So a PBN is a private blog network. So essentially SEOs buy these expired domains with really good link metrics and they reanimate the site and use it to build links from there to their money sites. So to check if the site is a PBN or not, simply go to archive.org and check what the site used to be. If it's always had like the same branding and same topic, fantastic, it's probably a clean URL. But if it's completely changed over time, it's likely that it's a PBN. The only real reason we want to avoid PBNs is they can have fake metrics, and if you do this stuff at scale, it's really easy to detect and then penalize. So what backlink metrics should you actually care about? Well, in a word, I would actually say just traffic. So if the site's got good traffic, it's likely that Google thinks highly of the site and therefore it's a good bet to get a link on that site. So to get the traffic of the domain, you just simply put the domain into SEMrush and it'll pop out their organic traffic as well as a bunch of other metrics if you're using the domain overview tool. Now back in the day it was all about PageRank and then DA's domain authority, that was the Moz metric. And nowadays it's DR, which is the Ahrefs metric. And all of these are kind of trying to algorithmically work out like the potential of the domain. You know, they're a good rule of thumb, but not really gospel. So when you're deciding at link value, please do not just look at DR or DA and decide it's good or bad. Okay, so how do we actually build good backlinks for free? Well, there's actually loads of techniques for doing this. You can go from competitor analysis to broken link building to reclamation. But to be honest, we're going to get the best responses from creating data journalism content. Now this is as close to the Google doctrine of make good content as we can actually get without being a complete simpleton, as we discussed earlier. So essentially it involves using your own internal data about your business or your industry to make an interesting story that's actually newsworthy. For example, recently we had a client that is growing their business against all odds during the pandemic, and they're actually hiring people in a local area. So we put together a press release using their sales numbers, and we took a quote from the managing director about employing new people in the local area, and we ended up with 3 local links and 1 national newspaper link just from that one story. I know what you're thinking, but Ross, like what if I don't have any good data? If I sell like door hinges or I'm like a sole trader or a consultant, like what do I do? Well, in that case, you should probably conduct some original research or perhaps a survey. The cool thing is there's loads of free data sets available from the government, and you can start using that to base your research and actually make a really interesting story around your industry. And here's the thing, the great thing about using a data set to make a story is that you can cut the same data multiple ways and get totally different angles. So you can go from consumer to trade to local to national, and all you're doing here is widening out the amount of people you can pitch your story to, so it's more likely you get more links. Now I actually went through this last year in my Brighton SEO talk, and I've linked that down in the description below if you want to have a look. Well, that's everything for this week's Canonical Chronicle. We hope you've liked it, and we hope that shed some light on what good and bad links are. And until next time, we will see you later.